How's it going, guys? That Texan Collector here, and today we're going to be looking at this 1993 Galaxy 12-inch oscillating fan. I bought this fan off of another collector who lives up north because I've been after one of these gray 12-inch Lasco desk fans for quite a while now, and he had a nice one and was selling it for pretty cheap, so I went ahead and bought it. I have two other gray bladed Lasco oscillating fans. One is a 9-inch that's also from the 90s, but it's branded under Lasco. And then I have a 16-inch that's branded under Galaxy from the late 80s. So this will fit right in between those two. So I'll have a nice set of gray bladed Lascos. This fan's in pretty nice cosmetic shape. Has a nice unyellowed gray blade. It's the pointy blade set. The badge in the center is really nice, and the logo is still really nice. In this era of the Lasco fans, the badge is kind of degraded in quality compared to other ones. So the chrome finish, as you can already see right here, it's starting to degrade and flake off, but other than that little bit, it's still really nice. The base is also really nice. It's not as yellowed. And the base plate is still nice and really clean. I like the gray to black gradient the button colors did on this era of Lasco fans. Interestingly, this fan, the bottom base plastic is white. Kind of interesting. That's kind of also one of the things that drove me to buying it, because usually most of the time these are just gray. But I thought it was neat. It had white on the bottom. Rear motor cover is in nice shape. No stress cracks on the handle or anything. This fan does have one issue of the few issues it has. The neck, I don't know if it's the set screw or just the plastic is worn out in the neck, but it is a little bit fragile. You have to be careful picking it up. I don't think it would break easily, but I don't want to chance it at all, because this is the era where Lasco's plastic definitely downgraded compared to the older ones, but it's still pretty nice. Now, the other issues this fan has, it seems to be running a little weak. I say that because high speed, even after running it for a long time, seems to still be pretty slow and kind of weak. But I will probably replace the capacitor in this, because that's probably the issue. The capacitor's starting to fade and go out, but it still works pretty good regardless of that issue. So go ahead and start it up on low. Has the nice motor whining harmonics that these older fans have. I guess it seems that sound seems to get more audible and worse once the capacitor starts to fade and wear out. Because I have another 12-inch Lasco fan that's branded under Sears. It's a mid-80s one, and it is actually very loud. The motor's on it's very loud, and it has weak speed, so I think that one has a bad capacitor as well. Pretty good low speed regardless. The grills still have all their original cage clips. I got the fan, it only had 3, so it works with 3, so I'll probably keep only 3 on there, since I do have spares from other fans I've parted out, but it's still pretty nice. You can see how loose the head is, like I was talking about. It's a little bit fragile, but oh well. Here's medium. There's really only a small difference between low and medium to high. That's another kind of key factor that tells me it's the capacitor going out. I'll probably video this once again if there's when I put a new capacitor in it and see what differences it makes. Just cool, you can still get capacitors for these if you just go off the value. And luckily, it doesn't have the iconic Lasco issue where the bearings are just utter garbage, and over time they just get worse and worse because the factory grease in there gets all crunchy and crumbly. So it only has minimal bearing noise. Previous collector already cleaned it, so I never really had to clean it. I just dusted it off from it being in storage. I'd say it still runs pretty good though, even with its small issues it has. And we'll bump it up to high. Yeah, because of that capacitor, I feel like high speed could be a little bit better. But this is still pretty solid. I've definitely seen lots worse high speeds than this. Blade is pretty balanced too. It doesn't really wobble or shake or vibrate. So that's also a nice touch. From the late 80s into the 90s, these Lasco oscillating fans definitely cheapened out compared to the mid and early 80s ones. In which, in all honesty, they're all of them are cheap, but it's just a trade-off of how there's a difference between how cheap each era is. There's cheaper ones and there's actually better made ones, which are the earlier ones, but in this era they definitely degraded, or downgraded, I guess you could say. It doesn't really like to oscillate towards that side as much as it does this other side. But still a pretty nice fan with a good spin down too. Definitely a lot better than some of my other Lasco fans, but so that's basically it. Thanks for watching, and I will see y'all in the next one.